In this episode, we're going to talk about healing and the mystic perspective on healing.
Yes, this time I would like to delve into being a soul creator, a soul healer, a soul transformer from the inside out, making change.
Welcome to Mystic Revolution. Join Susana and Wendy for insightful conversations and guided meditations.
Welcome to another episode of Mystic Revolution. And if you've been tuning into us before, you know we like to start with a little meditation to sort of get us all in here in heart and mind together. And so if you'd like to join us, please just go ahead and take a moment to close your beautiful eyes and let yourself drop inward. See if you can just let yourself drop out of any thoughts or chatter or extra energy down into your heart, down into your core. And take a nice deep breath in and exhale out. And then from this space and place, envision, imagine, tune into the idea of a beautiful ball of light. It's getting brighter and brighter. And allow yourself to really feel this light within you. And just continuing to breathe in and breathe out. And know that this series is really for you if you are curious about mysticism, if you have mystic sensibilities or interests, or if you've been practicing forever. This is a place for all of us to join together in heart and in this light within. All right. One more nice deep breath in and out. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. And here we are again.
Hey!
And in our last episode, Wendy was talking about why mystics matter and really delving into the truth that we all have mystic abilities and sensibilities, and we use them to one degree or another every day, whether we realize it or not. And we had a focus last time on reading and how we can hone our ability to read and sense things that are just sort of beyond the surface. Yes. And the floor is yours, Wendy.
Okay, thank you. Like I talked about last time, all of this stuff is our birthright. It makes for an extraordinary life for us and for our world. So I just want to start by talking about imagination, which is one of the beautiful, easy, regular, everyday inroads to our soul creativity, so to our soul being a soul creator. And this time I'm going to quote, I think it's Einstein. Imagination is more powerful than knowledge, more potent than knowledge. I didn't look it up. And this is said by like a scientist. This is said by like an everyday person who has made a big difference, not some, strange woo-woo person. That it's first with the imagination we can open up to what's possible. And then we can delve into it. Just last time we were talking about artists, and we can start to bring the inner vision out into the world, however that might come.
Yes.
And we can start to, so we don't only perceive what is and what's possible, but we move to a more active element of choosing and then acting, first in our soul, first in the inside, And then that spills out into our world. And so for artists, it might look like painting. For scientists, it might look like breakthroughs. For my life, it might look like starting to live in an RV. It starts to look like change. It starts to look like transformation. So from our soul into our world, the transformations start. And it starts with these seeds of imagination and possibility and choosing. Like in the garden, it's like, well, I'm going to let this plant grow, and I'm going to cut off this weed. I'm going to even take off this perfectly good plant because so I can make room for the other plant. We make choices with these seeds of what's possible, and we nurture them into reality, making it real. Go ahead.
Well, I think it's really important you bring up imagination, because oftentimes in the context of our material world, imagination is sort of given secondary status, right? It's not as important as certain things, right? And in fact, and this may be true for you and some of the people that I work with, I've had people say when we're working on honing reading or sensing, how do I know it's not just my imagination? And so this idea that imagination is really important and potent, this is the kind of conversation I love, because our imagination is that seed from everything that has been ever created. Right? Someone had the idea, someone imagined it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Everything new is first in the imagination.
Everything
pretty
new
much
is
period.
First in the imagination.
Right. And so when we were talking last time about reading what is, that is more like this, it's just, this is what is, this is what's been, and this is what's possible. But in this section, which is about creating, it's about healing and transformation. That's where imagination comes in, because it's like, oh my goodness, okay, all these possibilities. I'm going to move forward with this, and I'm going to write this story about this person, and it flowers.
It flowers. And to your point about writing the story about this person, in our imagination, we can get a picture of how a relationship could change. Mm-hmm. We could get a picture of how we might be able to heal a health situation within ourselves.
Yes.
And it's where the magic begins. And I don't know, can you talk a little bit more about that? I mean, I know you have a lot to say about it.
Well, I mean, to get technical, about how maybe you, but I certainly train psychic healers, is to first see what is and what's possible, and then together, for ourselves or together with whoever we're healing with, choose and see, okay, this is possible. What do I want? And like, see it change, know it change, taste it change, experience oneness with it as it changes, feel it change, whatever, in all of our, whatever amount of our senses, whatever we're using, all of these senses have the capacity, all the chakras, I just have to say, all the chakras have the capacity to sense and the capacity to shift.
Yes.
And it's this shift, and this shift is certainly in our work, I think it's done through metaphor, it's done through pictures, it's done through imagination, active imagination.
Right.
Which going from here to there.
The directing of energy, which is the directing of energy and intention. And I mean, to your point, helping people decide or deciding where you want to direct your attention, intention, and energy. Sometimes that's the hardest thing.
Oh gosh, right? For me it is.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. Do I want an apartment or an RV or both? All right, let me look what this looks like. Potentially this looks like, oh, this is what I want, at least for today. This is what it's going to look like. Okay, let's go. it's
Mhm.
challenging to like,
Mhm.
because it takes the whole idea with decide is, I understand, it takes everything else off the table. This is what I'm doing.
Right.
But before that, it's okay, all these things are on the table and they're playing, like little toys, little wind up toys. And I'm looking, okay, what do I choose?
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
essential for creating.
It's so essential for creating. And I'm just going to say, conversely, sometimes when our thoughts are consumed, by things that like worry, fear, all the things that are going on, finding where to point to can be challenging. You know, what, and finding where what you want in that can seem challenging. And so, with this idea of mysticism and of really honing into the truth of what you desire, the truth of what you really want to create, um, is so important.
Mhm. Yeah. And we'll get into it more later in this particular part of the series. But, while I'm aligned with my source, while I'm aligned with my particular path, it really matters. The desire, I read the desire as the desire of the body. What does the body want? And that's a very
Yeah,
strong driver. And we do get to participate in that co-creation. It's a wonderful part of the game.
yeah,
It's a divine, beautiful gift to dance with the divine of what our body wants and where the divine is moving, where the wind is moving.
yeah. So, in the context of healing, I mean, obviously, we can go in a lot of different directions here, but I know that that was what the body wants in the context of healing, or how you tune into what maybe a client's body wants in the context of healing. Can you talk a little bit about that?
How I tune in, I like to work together. I don't want to
Mhm.
be like the big psychic and they're the big, it happens to them. So
Mhm.
pretty much always I read with them. I give them a couple tools and I read with them what their body wants
Yeah.
and what they see spiritually, what's possible and what's in the way. Like that's just because I want to empower them to be able to do it. And I don't want to be, I'm not the in charge of their life. Right. Not, I want to empower them, but also I don't want to be like the one, I'm not the psychic, what is it called? Advisor. I'm not the effing psychic advisor. Like, do not ask me to tell you what to do because it's
Yes.
your life.
Yes.
Right. And I give a lot of information. It's not like I don't. But the important part is to help them with their information because that's super empowering.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, because as mystics, we are the change artists. We're the transformers. We get to another way to talk about it. It's more comfortable for some people. Is we're the co-creators with the divine in each other, and we get to, as we're talking about, we get to see what is, see what's possible, and then act,
Mhm.
and choose an act, and that's what conscious creation is.
Yes.
So this opens up an enormous amount of our free will and our playful opportunities that can happen. So when I was thinking about it today, I was thinking about a friend of mine. I don't know why I thought about this one, but a friend of mine who's also a reader and healer called and he was like, "Oh, I really want to buy this truck, but I'm really nervous because last time I bought a truck, blah, blah, blah." And I look and I'm like, it looks like a really dumb idea to buy this truck. I'm just like, this looks like a shitty idea to me. Right. And like that could be the end of the story. Right. That's just reading. But it wasn't the end of the story because I also, because I'm a healer, I'm looking and I'm just like, oh, because this, and this is in the way.
Mhm.
Right. So if we work with this, and this, then new things can open. So
Right.
we, very quickly, like, okay, like let's look, blah, 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 like 10 minutes or something. And then, okay, let's look together again. And like the road was clear.
Yep.
And that's the beautiful, like that's the difference between just reading and healing, or reading and actively co-creating, transforming the world.
Yes.
And it's very important to note that nothing is set in stone. Nothing is set in stone.
You got a little validating honk by someone in the background there.
Yeah. So, anyway, we get to create a whole different world every day.
Yes.
And it's pretty exciting. So do you have anything to say about this?
Well, it makes me think of something that happened recently. And like you, I like to empower the people I work with to tune in and heal themselves. But where I won't give specifics, but where you are reading and you're honing in on a particular thing that ends up being like the core of cores. And in healing that and honing in on that particular thing, and in healing that, like all these other things,
Yes.
unexpected things heal, right?
Yes.
Like a physical thing healed out of that, like, and on and on and on. And it's why it's so important to be able to both, hone in and discern on what you want to focus on, and then allow that imagination and allow the seed then to open and expand. I mean, some of this other stuff that happened for this person, I had a sense of, but some of them were completely unexpected.
Yes.
Like completely unexpected to both of us. And I mean, that's really magic.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
magic. And it's that co-creation of magic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like the picture I'm seeing is like the other day I was walking on the forest road, and like 2 trees had come down. They weren't the biggest trees in the whole world. Like I could have possibly moved one at a time, maybe,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm just like, I'm going. I'll deal with it on the way back, maybe. And then somebody came along and moved. I think a ranger came and moved them. And it's like, and the next thing I know, like every 5 minutes or so, a car's coming by or a bicycle's coming by, right? Like the trees got moved, and it wasn't just so the ranger could get through. Then all the other people could get through. And that's kind of what healing is. Like we may move a boulder, and all the things that have been behind the boulder get to play then.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's quite extraordinary. Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we are about at break time. So let's pause for a moment and we will be right back.
Thank you, We Are Historically, for your conscious human apparel. Shop online at wearehistorically.com.
Raise your vibration and energize your life with specialized Fibonacci tuning forks that deepen meditations and empower self-healing. Get your vibrational sound tools for personal enhancement at energybodytuners.com.
Welcome back from the little break we had, and let's jump right back in. Wendy, you have a lot more to say about why mystics matter, so I give the floor to you.
Yeah, so we've been talking about being a soul change agent.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to say that later on in our Mystics Matter series, we're going to be talking about, I think next time, navigating change. Not next time, but the whole next subject is navigating change. So there's much more about change coming. But right now, I just want to say that we have a lot of capacity to heal and grow and learn and change and create and transform. And we can do that ourselves, and we can help others, and it makes a gigantic difference in our world. And speaking of change, I'm transforming now to the last thing, the last one of these that I want to talk about, which is being a soul teacher and leader, which we already are. We all already are. And I just want to say that this one is not the Gandhi quote. Here's not the Gandhi quote, which is be the change you want to see in the world. I mean, I feel like that's the most like on point thing I can say, even though Gandhi didn't say it, about being a soul teacher and a soul leader, is that us being it is what matters. And that just like children, we all learn monkey see, monkey do in our souls, and we watch each other, and it makes a huge difference when we model, and we'll be talking about this more in the future. We model the change.
Yes, we model the change. We walk the talk. We lean into that truth. And that gets us, more in alignment with ourselves and our integrity, and makes the magic flow even more, I would say. Yeah.
Yes, it's a very magical thing. And so from my perspective, all of us are already always, we're being a certain way, we're doing certain things, and folks are already learning from us. I mean, certainly our children are learning from us in extraordinary ways, crazy ways. And I think it really helps us, it behooves us to get very conscious about this. And conscious doesn't mean getting all perfect picture-y about it. Like, oh, I have to be perfect, or all caught in shoulds and oughts. But really owning the powerful way that who we're being and what we're doing actually makes an impact.
Yeah, actually does make an impact.
And as mystics, as people going along in the spiritual path, power builds up, momentum builds up, inertia builds up, and we make an increasing impact non-verbally. And then, of course, there's verbal stuff. So one thing I like to talk about with this is that no matter if somebody knows our name or not, no matter if we're Oprah or a CEO of a big company, or we're just like a homebody or a hermit on the hill, this part doesn't matter so much. Our beingness helps transform our world.
Absolutely.
And so it's okay if we choose to be known by like a household name, or if we choose to nobody knows our name. Like it's all good. It's all good.
Right. Whatever we choose to be is all good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the more we lean into that choice with the truth of who we are, with living from the inside out, that's what makes the difference.
It really does. It really does. And following the path that is the way for us.
Right.
It just makes a tremendous difference. So we could go on and on about this, but we will be talking more in the future about soul leadership, I'm sure. So we can just let that be enough. But the idea is that we're already making a difference in all these ways we've talked about. We're already doing it. Can we get more conscious? And can we allow ourselves to really let our own light shine? How we do it, who we are.
Let our own light shine in our own way, because it's unique and wondrous. And, so often we do get in those perfect pictures or comparing, and our own path in this is one of a kind. One of a kind. And the more we can allow ourselves that, again, the more the magic flows.
Amen, sister.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all for joining us for this episode of Mystic Revolution. As always, we do a little closing meditation too. So I invite you to just take a moment and breathe in and exhale out. And just allow anything that inspired you or made sense or maybe validated something for you to just sink in and be a part of your field. And anything else, stuff you didn't like or confused by, don't care about, just let it go. Just let it go. And drop into your heart space, and let's bring back that beautiful ball of light. And know that this light within you is wondrous and unique and is needed. If you're alive right now, you and your light and truth are needed on the planet. So let's take a nice deep breath into that. Exhale out, and we look forward to seeing you next time on Mystic Revolution.
And that concludes this portion of Mystic Revolution. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to get notified of new content. Don't forget to like and share. Join the Mystic Revolution. Click on the link in the description to get more information or visit themysticrevolution.com. Another creative art production by Retro Earth Studio.
This series is really for you if you have mystic sensibilities or interests, or if you've been practicing forever. This is a place for all of us to join together